Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I want to welcome you to tonight's edition of Yes You with Friends. I tell you what, I'm so glad that each of you are here to join me on this Sunday evening. It is Sunday, and I tell you what, I want to give a shout out to Roz McCommon. It's her birthday today, July the 18th in the year 2021, and I got a quick call in and got a chance to have a little love and laughter with her, but wishing her a really nice and prosperous birthday. Y'all know how we do it over here. Just love to enjoy and love on people for their birthdays. So listen, Roz, it's all about you today. Happy birthday. And I love you. I love you. I love you. Now let's see. I'm looking for something in particular. There it is. Here we go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy
Yes, today is her birthday, and she informed me today that her imaginary dog Brody's birthday is next month. So we're giving her all kind of love, all kind of birthday love. And so yes. I just love it. I love it. Good evening, LaWanda Baskerville in the house. Let me come down and say good evening to all the lions in the Lion's Den tonight. I appreciate you guys for coming in. Let's see. I got the Rebel Ink, who always got my back. Always. She got my front, back, my middle, my top, my side, both sides. She got me covered, y'all. She got me covered. That's what friends are for. Appreciate you. Mino 3782 came on up in the house. Dalen 628, so glad that you are in the Lion's Den. I'm glad to have you, sis. Anita Harvey, thank you for coming on in the house. BTD Mom, I appreciate you so much. Teresa Jones, that's my sister and my 411 Connect. She keeps me connected. And I hope I didn't miss anybody. I think I got everybody that's in the chat right now. Some of you may be in the cut. And again, LaWanda Baskerville, I appreciate you for coming in the house. I am so glad. Now, this is not Yes You O Cubed one-on-one, just me and you. This is Yes You with Friends, but all my friends done left me, cheerings. All my friends done. No. Let me clean that up. My friends are still my friends, and my friends are still here. But my friends, I want to first and foremost ask for some love and prayers. Royal Confessions, as you all know her in the street. On this podcast, you all know her as Rhonda Royal. Her husband did pass very unexpectedly on yesterday morning. So our condolences and our love to Rhonda, all of our energy, everything that we can send her way in the way of love, care, and concern. You know how Royal Confessions just keeps us rolling and keeps us laughing, and she is the life of the party. But she needs our love. She needs us to hold her up right now. now. So please, please, please remember her in her time of grief, and that is why she is not here. And so just all kinds of love going out to Rhonda Royal on today. Also, Tyrone was unable to be here, and we just went ahead and gave Jonna the evening off. I said, listen, we just gonna roll this beautiful bean footage and let y'all have some downtime. But I wanted to come in and talk to my family here in the Yes You with Friends family lineup. So you see that number up there. Part of tonight is that you all are gonna be my friends tonight. Yes, I still have them and they're my friends, but gave them a little break, some little downtime. But feel free to call in, you all. Feel free to call in. A couple of things I want to address tonight. First and foremost, oh Lord, you know, I lost my stick. You know, part of my stick is I gotta have my shades on, because you know, in case I need to throw some shade, I gotta have some shades on, y'all. There we go. Now I felt naked. Felt like I came out here with part of my clothes missing, like something was hanging out, you know, like something was missing, and I had to get myself together here. Now, a couple of things. Go ahead and call. A couple of things that I want to touch on tonight. One of those, hey, thank you for liking the stream. I'm going to ask you all that will go ahead and like the stream, host the stream, share the stream, subscribe to the stream, because we are about building this community. Rashida Renee, thank you, girl. Thank you so much. And welcome to the Lion's Den tonight. Again, you guys are going to be welcome to be my friends. Call that number 816-688-8485, and I'm gonna talk about what you want to talk about. Thank you for hosting the stream, BTD Mom. Now, I do want to bring up some things. However, first thing I want to cover is that as far as this podcast, Yes You O Cubed and everything, I'm always open to any of your input. You all see the changes in what the stream looks like. Thank you, Rebel Inc., for hosting this beautiful stream. I appreciate you. We're changing what the format looks like, trying to upgrade and bring it to a whole nother level of existence and enjoyability. Want you to enjoy what's going on. So I want to be open to your ideas and your input. I'm gonna put this out there because we are gonna poll on, I believe we'll probably do it on Wednesday for everybody that's in the chat on Wednesday morning for Yes You Okay. Oh no, so is back in the house. Thank you so much for coming back. Oh no, I appreciate you. Thank you. So on Wednesday morning, we will be taking a poll, and I'm gonna go with the poll. I'm gonna ask you guys about changing the time for Yes You O Cubed, currently being seen and streamed from 7 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock in the morning. We're looking at moving to, do you want to stay where we are, 7 to 9? Do you want to move to an 8 to 10 format? So put that on the back of your burner. We'll come back to it on Wednesday. We're going to take a poll and see what the high number is in that poll, and we'll be adjusting or not based on what you, the viewers, feel comfortable with. So I want to make sure we've got people on the East Coast, we've got people on the West Coast, and as you know, even like our brother Joel, he comes in from Australia, and we had another country that came in on the other day as well, from France. So, you know, we're trying to put it and place it in a position that everybody can get in and be comfortable and enjoy the stream. So come on Wednesday morning, and you want to be right after we do those promos and start the podcast, there will be a poll taken at that time. So I want your voices to be heard. I want you to say something. So jump into that poll, and we're going to be moving towards ideas and things that we can do to help this be a little more interactive and where you can have some more input. Tall Pumps came in here on the other night. Yes, you actually reboot. Those are my two young ladies, and that's where I'm gonna kind of go tonight. Our two young streamers came in, and let me tell you the assignment that I gave them, and Lena really took it and is driving, and Shelly has come in as well. I think they did an excellent job on Friday night podcast. We're looking to move that to 2 o'clock, y'all. 2 o'clock on Fridays. We're gonna make that move and try to move that thing up a little bit so it doesn't get so late into the night. So those are just some introductions introductory informational announcements I wanted to start off with. And then we're going to go from there. But y'all hold on to your wig and to your weave, because this is what I realized. And this is what we're going to talk about tonight. How many of y'all actually got an edumacation? How many of y'all got an edumacation on Friday? Because I mean to tell you, those two young lions, they laid some stuff out there that some of y'all, I know y'all's jaws were dropped. Some of y'all were about to pass out cold. You needed some water. You needed a fan. You needed something, because them babies laid it out there. And what I realized is that I'm getting old. Yes, the young ladies are doing great. They did a great job, Mino. They did a great job, BTD Mom. They brought some stuff, man, that we have not, at least in my generation, been aware. Now, I do want to come from this angle, because this smelling salts, Mel, we needed smelling salts after they got finished, because some of y'all, it was just enough to knock you straight on your tail and just clutching pearls. Now, this is what I want to talk about a little bit on today, and we're going to get up out of here. After we got done talking, now put a 1 in there if y'all learned something. For those of you all that were in here on Friday with those young ladies who just blew our wig, our weave, they blew everything off. If you were in here and you learned something that you didn't know on Friday, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. If y'all knew everything that they were talking about, I want y'all, I got some 1s. I see the 1s. If you were totally up to date with everything that they were talking about, put a 2 in the chat, and I'm going to probably bet that you are younger or have a connection to younger folk, because listen, those young ladies had my jaw dropped. You hear me? I mean, I was like, listen, close your mouth, a fly's gonna go in, as the old folks used to say. You got a 27-year-old, Mino, so you were all on point. Okay, so this is where I want to kind of go tonight, and you guys are welcome to call in. That number 816-688-8485. I have to say, I was shocked. I was shocked, stunned, and amazed. Now, what I did appreciate, they did exactly what I asked of them, and that was to tell it like it T-I-Z-Tiz. Y'all know how it is over here. No cream, no sugar. We take this coffee strong and black, because we tell it like it T-I-Z-Tiz. And those babies did that. Did they not? They did that. They gave us straight black coffee. Man, they had coffee that sailors could have drank. They had coffee that grow hair on your chest. Number 1 said, you kind of blind. You were kind of ignorant to everything that we're talking. Okay, so this is where we went for those that were not here on Friday, and we're going to pick it back up again this Friday. That topic was hot. It was hot. That coffee was hot. That tea was hot. So at the end of the day, yes, it was definitely rated R, because I told them, hey, Teresa Jones, thank you for liking the stream, sis. I told them I want to talk about what young people talk about, and I want it to be open. I want it to be real. I want it to be raw. And they did that. Now, on the order of the relationships and opting for multiple partners in agreement. We're not doing any slipping and tipping and on the side, but in agreement, that whole group thing that is now going on in the younger generation, and the way that they flow and the way that they operate. And I'm not throwing that out there with any disrespect or anything like that, because listen, this is where giggles, slipping and tipping, goggles, slipping and Google, I'm sorry, let me read that right. Slipping and tipping. Listen, I'm telling you, oh no, so they had it lit up in here. Do you understand what and I mean, them girls, did y'all know what a whatchamacallit was? I did not know what a whatchamacallit was. I didn't know the difference between a side piece and I mean, baby, by the time they get finished laying all the different definitions and what they actually meant, because I realized, I found out I was putting the wrong terms to the wrong people in the way that they was breaking that thing down. I mean, they broke that thing down. I was like, really? And really, again, they broke that thing down. And if you see my mission statement up there right now, it's to deconstruct the walls between the sacred and the secular to bring us to freedom, balance, and success. Because at the end of the day, they were trying to corrupt me. Oh, no, they were trying to corrupt me. Well, I tell you what, they were talking real talk the way that they talk it amongst their generation. So this is why I asked them to do that. And this is why I asked this segment of the podcast to be a part of the Yes You ensemble. We need to know what the young folks are talking. We need to know what the young people are thinking. We need to have conversation where they can talk very openly and freely without trying to beat around the bush and talking code and this and that and the other. And we need to listen. We as older folk need to be able to listen to the generation and learn and grow and glean what we can, and hopefully have an exchange that we're each giving something to one another. They're giving me something, I'm giving something back to them, and we're all being honest and we're all keeping it real. So when they got finished, I have to admit, I realized that in the sexual revolution, I am oblivious to a whole lot of stuff. Now, at the end of the day, that topic was hot. They disrespectfully, but this generation doesn't really have a filter. All they know how to do is talk openly. And that, now I'm gonna say thank you, Dalen. Let me say this about that. I think our generations and the generations before us, we did that. And you know why I say we did that? We created that because we had, everything was so cloaked in secrecy. Everything was so tiptoe around. Everything was, or I won't say everything, but many things were hidden. Many things where you don't talk about that to da 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 da. And stuff was going on in these folks' houses. Things were going on in these individuals' lives. You understand what I'm saying? The Rebel Inc. There was a whole lot of shaking going on. You feel what I'm saying? Oh no, there was a whole lot of shaking going on, and they watched that stuff. And unlike the generations previous to them, they're like, look, I will not be silent. I'm gonna talk. I'm not now. And this is what I said, and I'm gonna keep it real. This is what we're talking about today. So y'all better hold on. This isn't Yes You Old Cube. This is Yes You with friends. But since I ain't got no friends tonight, I'm gonna do it on my own. At the end of the day, we created this, and so I'm looking, and I'm not gonna necessarily say it's bad. We needed to have open conversation. We needed to maybe take some of the filters off, and sometimes you got to know when to filter. And as you said, Dalen, if there's no filters there and you don't know when to filter, open mouth, insert foot. So I think some of that goes on as well, where people are, you know, some of our youngsters, they get in places and they get in situations where filter needs to be turned on and they don't have one. So at the end of the day, I think that we have to acknowledge, did we not create this? And if we created it, we're going to have to deal with it. Well, as I looked, and everybody, we can say whatever we want to say, but I'm going to keep it real. Preachers sleeping with all the sisters in the church created some of this. Y'all ain't buying what I'm selling. Preachers sleeping with the little boys and the little girls, and preachers going out with your wives and your women in the congregation created a lot of this. Y'all ain't gonna buy what I'm selling. So you had, and I'm just going there because I happen to be a person of the cloth, so I'm gonna talk about what I know for real, for real. You say in general, you had to smoke a cigar afterwards. Rebel Inc. I'm gonna make it real. So, and I'm gonna come from that perspective because many people in the Black community have found a lot of solace. We've found a lot of education. We've found a lot of our socialization in the church. So I'm just going to deal with that piece right there. And I'm going to say, so when pastor is a pedophile, and kids are watching this, and I was watching something on YouTube about 2 weeks ago, and this young lady talked about how the pastor started basically raping her at the age of 12, and how that relationship went right on up to the time that she was 24. Then she started having babies by the pastor, even though they weren't saying the babies were pastor's baby. But these were pastor's baby. So at the end of the day, by the time you got finished with the fact that pastor had slept with the little girl, had babies by the little girl, she was the praise team leader, she was the youth leader, she was all of these things that he had pushed her, groomed her, and everything else for. He had done all of that with this little girl, but he was using her. So, you know, at the end of the day, I want us to recognize, so I'm just going to deal with with this one dynamic, and then you let that go further out into the community, into the teachers at school, into the Boy Scout leader, the Girl Scout leader, the troop leader, all of this stuff and all these opportunities and all of this stuff that's going down. Come on, BTD mom. It's better to be open about situations instead of saying nothing about it and gossiping. Come on here, because y'all know we good for gossip. We won't say it openly, but man, those phones, y'all, in the middle of the night when y'all trying to call it prayer meeting and y'all just telling everybody's business, we gonna have a little talk with Jesus and each other and tell them all about the trouble and what happened. Y'all get to gossiping and talking about people, and y'all know I'm telling the truth. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Y'all get at the club and, you know, when they hit the dance floor, y'all over here whispering and looking and giving side eye and all this kind of stuff. So I'm looking and I'm saying, basically, what I heard those young ladies describing was a generation that said, we're not going to be cloaked and veiled with it. We just going to come with it. We just going to put it out there and talk about it like it is. Now, while I was listening to them, I really wanted to, I couldn't do this poll for real, but I really could have been, how many of y'all been a side piece? How many of y'all been a side chick? How many of y'all been in a relationship where you had somebody else's? How many, and at the end of the day, how many times did you come with somebody else and then went home? So, you know, at the end, walks to the, come on, oh no. So I'm trying to say, so at the end, listen, come on, Shelly B, come on in and pull up a seat, because we talking an extension of what our young people brought to us on Friday night, because baby, they were live and in living color, and they put some stuff out there that had some of us just actually clutching pearls. But then I'm like, why are we clutching pearls? Because there's nothing new under the sun. And if the reality of it is told, some of our parents that, you know, when we start talking about the hush hush and nothing, whatever happens in here, you bet not tell it. Whatever happens in here, you don't share it outside of the four walls of this house. A lot of that stuff is what created what we heard on Friday night, in my opinion. So at the end of the day, like I said, because I know in my lifetime when I was a young woman, I saw the pastor dipping out of somebody's house and it wasn't his wife's. So not mine. Now let me be clear, not mine. I praise God that I was raised in a situation where there was some levels of integrity, but I also saw some close by that was doing the same thing. So basically all these young people have created, in my opinion, is something. Thank you for listening, Stacy 546, and good evening, welcome to the Lion's Den. So I feel like a lot of this that has been created is a direct result, and even for the filter part, Dalen, and you tell me how you feel about this. The filter part is that we've seen what silence and secrets do to people. The silence and the secrecy destroys people's lives, and we don't want to be destroyed. So guess what? We're going to talk. We're going to put it out there. It may not be filtered. Come on, Dalen, I don't hear you talking to me. It may not be filtered, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to carry this like my parents did. I'm not going to carry this like my grandparents did. I'm not going to carry this like the generations ahead of me did. I refuse to do that. So we just going to talk about it. Come on, Shelly B. We just going to talk about it openly. And instead of doing all of this secret tipping and dipping and sipping and lipping out of somebody else's cup, we just going to pass the cup around. We just gonna have, y'all know how in Catholicism, when they're taking communion and in their communion, the cup gets passed to everybody. That's basically what these young folk have done. Y'all ain't buying what I'm selling. They have basically said, we're gonna have a new version of communion. We're gonna take this one cup and we're gonna all come together. And I thought my phone would be ringing by now. Ain't nobody called me. I ain't got no friends up in here. I'm saying, they said, looky, we're gonna take communion. And instead of doing everybody's got an individual cup, Rebel, they passing the bitter cup. Come on, Valerie, that's my sister. That's my sister, Valerie Warren, in the house tonight, y'all. So they said instead of us acting all separated out, y'all know how the communion tray had 100 different cups in the tray, and they all had their own little compartment, and you put the lid on it. And y'all know back in my day, they made communion almost mysterious. You couldn't see. They had a cloth that they held up. You couldn't see when they were passing the stuff out. You couldn't see when they were pouring the juice. You couldn't see nothing. Everything was a secret. And that's really kind of indicative of that whole time of existence and generation. Everything was a secret. But these young folks said, no, we're doing this the Catholic style. Everybody gonna drink from the same cup. So listen, if you gonna sleep with Sally, and if you gonna sleep with Jim, and if you gonna sleep, then we just gonna make an agreement. This is what we're gonna do. I had to listen. Am I a side child of a pastor and don't know it? Listen. I'm trying to tell you, Pastor's peen was everywhere. Pastor's peen was everywhere. He was praying for the sick, P-R-E-Y. He was praying for the sick. He was praying for the shut-in, P-R-E-Y. He was praying for the invalids. He was praying for those that didn't have soundness of mind. Google peen. Alexa, Google peen. So listen, peen everywhere. Peen everywhere. And so at the end of the day, you have children, and don't y'all play. These kids are not slow. They know what they see. They know what's going on. They know when Deacon Jim Bob is looking at Sister Sally Jane, and they know when they tipping and dipping, and they know when it's a whole lot of stuff going on. And so this generation, yes, peen, P-E-E-N, peen. It's a whole lot of peen going on. So this generation has just basically said, we're not going to do that. We're going to have an arrangement. We're going to have an agreement. We're going to be open and upfront with each other. And did you hear, even as those young ladies were talking, the takeaway that I took was very sensitive to the reality that, beloved, this is what we've created. This is what we've created. Now we just might as well tell the truth and shame the devil. We just might as well tell the truth. And thank you for hosting the stream, Stacy 546. We just might as well tell the truth and shame the devil. Now, even though we were clutching pearls when those young ladies were talking and they were giving us all the rundown on all the different situations and this and that, I mean, at the end of the day, all they've done is come out and openly put a name to all the things that y'all and others were doing generations before them. And they said, instead of us lying, instead of us cheating, instead of us doing all of these other things that we've seen destroy our families in the past, we just gonna get up and tell the truth and make an agreement. I enjoyed them too, Rebel. It was a great conversation. You might have to water down the message. You know, folks like to try and ban you. Oh, I got you. Oh, I got you. Oh, no, I got you. Well, listen, you know, I'm just saying, at the end of the day, now, unless you, I'm talking somewhat coded. I didn't come all the way out, but y'all can read between the lines. Y'all can read between the lines, and you know. Okay, so let me go. This is what we do on Sunday morning. I'm sorry, on Yes You OQ. So y'all follow me. Okay, so this is what we're gonna say from now on. Oh no, oh so, because again, we have this whole concept of how we can get around that. So if you ever come in Tuesday morning through Friday morning and you hear us talking about breakfast sampler, let me tell you what the breakfast sampler is, and you let your imagination give you the visual. You got the 2 pancakes in the back. You got the strip of bacon coming up. You got the 2 sausages in the front, and for some it's little smokies, and then you have the egg right there. Now you go ahead and let your mind give you the visual. So at the end of the day, breakfast sampler, is that better for you? Oh no. So when we start talking about passing around breakfast sampler, is it big breakfast? Is it? I mean, y'all, come on. So if we're talking about passing the big breakfast around, I see, said the blind man. That's what it is. Oh, so big, the breakfast sampler. If you hear us Tuesday through Friday talking about breakfast sampler, that's exactly what it is. But breakfast sampler, we've been feeding the hungry a long time. We've been feeding the thirsty and we've been feeding the hungry for a long time. And this generation has basically said, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm going to move away from that whole feeding the multitudes. Listen, rebel, just 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, and they fed the multitudes. Just 2 pancakes and a strip of sausage and 2, you understand, a strip of bacon and 2 sausage and egg has fed the multitudes down through the years. Do you understand the words that are coming out my mouth? Does that help you? Oh, so, oh no, oh, so. At the end of the day, these young people have basically come up with an alternative of how to deal with all of that. I love the fact that they talked openly, because I'm gonna tell you what, we need to know what's going on. Now, I'm gonna tell you, after that conversation, my phone still ain't ringing. Ain't nobody calling to tell me nothing. Am I shocking y'all? Have I sent y'all into shocking awe? I just can't believe it. So at the end of the day, when we got finished with that conversation, I said, okay, so at bare minimum, I am, you're not shocked. Good. I'm glad. Oh no, I'm glad. At all. I wish you could have been and do the replay. Anybody that did not come in on Friday, do the replay to hear those 2 young ladies talking, because I mean, they put it out there. They wrote the vision and they made it plain. Now, this is where I want to go with this. So when we look at all of the different places that, to me, I feel that our generation created this, and our generations ahead of us created these different waves and ripples that have, like ripples on a pond. We created this. We created this hurricane. We created this whole scenario. Because listen, the Me Too movement gave many people a voice to say that happened to me. A lot of people that have been victimized down through the years. I'm keeping it real, Valerie. That's all I know how to do, is keep it real. A lot of people that have been victimized down through the years, and can I be real with that? A lot of victimization goes on in the 4 walls of the church and beyond. Church has been a predator, super predator location, and that beloved is the truth. So at the end of the day, I'm talking about, I've been sitting in the pulpit and had a preacher rubbing on my leg, and that ain't no made up imaginary nothing. I'm talking about what I experienced in my lifetime as a young woman. And so I'm sitting here and I'm dealing and I'm looking and I'm like, this is one of the upstanding top leaders of the church, and this man is rubbing on my leg. So the first time I moved over and thought, okay, maybe it was an accidental rub, but the rub just kept coming. So, this is real talk and real stuff. That finally, I feel like there needs to be a place and an avenue where we have some conversation about, again, allowing our young people to keep it real, because this is where I want to come again. They've seen a lot of this and they've witnessed a lot of it. So thank you for hosting the stream, Shelby B. They've seen a lot of this and they've experienced a lot of it. And they're basically saying, I'm not going to do what the generations before us did. We're going to talk. We are going to talk, and we're going to talk it out with no filter. And I feel like, beloveds, we stripped the filters off of them. Not all men are trash. Oh no, but there are some lecherous people out there. And I do want to say this. I even take some of that with the situation that some people are wounded and operating out of places where they have not been healed. They're operating out of some places where they've been abused sexually and they're acting out now as predators. Is anybody hearing me talk? I don't hear y'all over here. This chat is awful quiet. They are now acting out of their behaviors. They're now acting out of what happened to them, and they're just repeating that same cycle. I've taken very seriously as a pastor pastor mandatory reporting, and I've had 2 situations where I had to do mandatory reporting for predators and pedophiles, and in both instances, preachers in the church, and I had to report preachers that are going through their own families molesting, and then coming to other families and start trying to molest families in the church. I'm talking real stuff, y'all. Ain't nobody talking to me in here but Oso. Y'all done got mute. Y'all done got quiet. But I'm telling you, this is real stuff. And when you been sleeping with the pastor, and the pastor been tiptoeing around to your house, and your children are seeing it, I don't know what y'all expect them to do. Oh, it ain't just the Catholic Church, Mel. Don't put that on the Catholics been doing it, but baby, you can go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all through the alphabet, A primed, Z primed, and come back around again. And baby, it's in all the churches. And so at the end of, and I'm just using this one area, we still not looking at what happens with the teachers in the school system that are predators. What are happening on the jobs with people that are predators? What are happening with all of these things? You think it's just talked about more in the Catholic Church. You know what? And I'll agree with you there, because children that have now, as I said, we created this Hurricane, Jonna, and good evening to you. Welcome to the Lion's Den. It's running through all of the places. You understand the words, that it's running everywhere. And I remember the day, and I'm gonna just keep it real. I remember the day black folks would say, that don't happen in the black church. Baby, some of your uncles, some of your grandpas, some of your brothers, some of y'all's, honey, they had fingered and tinkered and everything everywhere. So at the end of the day, this whole idea of why we do the whole what stays in our house, you don't talk about what happened in this house, this information stays inside our house and you don't tell nobody, baby, and all you're doing is, number one, traumatizing the individual that's been victimized. And especially if you're not going to take them to counseling to get some help, if you're not going to take that child to counseling to get some help, and then you had some people, and this is hard for some of you to wrap your brain around, but it's a reality. Some of you all have to understand there were people when the other grown-ups in the situation knew what was going on, and nobody did anything to help those children. That's real stuff. There was nobody to help those little children. Oh no. So at the end of the day, what we ended up with was those little children, and thank God that some of them really started finding support amongst one another, and so they took the filters off. They took the filters off. So come on and talk to me, Stacy, because these folks done got mute on me. I guess I got way too far gone over here. Done of the pastors think they are privileged, and no one better not say anything to them about it. Come on, we're done with that, Shelby. We're done with that, because at the end of the day, I got you. At this day in time, I can remember, they knew folks that was, and I can go back to some situations that I remember. I personally did not have this in my local church, but I knew folks in churches around us where the preacher was doing everything damnable under the sun with the people. And so this was when you got ready and the whispering was going on. Then when you got ready to deal with the accountability, touch not mine anointed and do my prophets no harm. Well, listen, that little girl, that little boy, they're the anointed too. That little girl, that little boy, touch them not too. That little girl, that little boy. We need to deal with realities. Some of these folk were out there damaging these children, and now we want to talk about they don't have a filter. Why do you think they don't have a filter? Sometimes you have to go to a place where, and since I've gone through counseling, I've been a victor. Now, we talked about this the other day. I'm not a victim. I'm a victor. I'm a tor, not a Tim. I've been a victor of sexual abuse. But at the end of the day, this is what we got to deal with. As one of my counselors said, go someplace and you don't even have to know the people. Just tell somebody. Stop the secrets. Am I talking to anybody? Sometimes we got to stop the secrets. So this generation has basically come through hard trials and come through experiences. And they said, listen, as we tell each other, then we're going to band together and strengthen one another. And we just going to take all the filters off. Either you going to deal with us raw, either you going to deal with us live, either you're going to deal with us from a place of truth and reality, or we not dealing at all. Cancel. So at the end of the day, if we as people, as a generation that is embracing and loving our young lions, if we don't let them talk about where they are and what's going on with them and the choices that they're making, and I'm going to say it once more and again, many of those choices are because they don't want to repeat us. Y'all don't want to live with that. They do not want to repeat us. They do not want to repeat their grandparents. They do not want to repeat what they saw before them take place and watched y'all be traumatized and tore up and watched y'all be devastated. And we didn't want to admit and acknowledge the fact I'm tore up from the flow up. We just keep getting in the prayer line, snotting and crying for prayer. And sometimes the person that's praying for you is actually the person that's victimizing you. As this young lady said, she said at the point that she didn't have any place to turn because the person that was victimizing her was the man that was in charge of the church, and not only that church, but several other churches too. Come on, Oso, you're always preaching to your daughter about speaking up and out and that her voice is powerful and she shall be heard. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving that to your daughter, because too many daughters and too many of us young women were told and taught how to keep quiet, how to stay in our place, how to do this the way that it's supposed to be done, how to do that the way, and becoming of a woman, becoming of a little girl, becoming of that whole element of stay in your place and look at the way that you present yourself. Look at the way, all of these other things, looks. And all of this that's focused on looks, but folks are tore up. People are devastated. People are making choices and options for their lives from a place and a mindset of being devastated and tore up and can't think straight because secrets. Oh my God, can I just talk about secrets? When we go through the whole place, some of y'all just now telling your secrets. Some of you been carrying these secrets for 50, 60 years, 70 years. Folks that are going to their graves with secrets. Some folks, the secret is what's taking you to the grave. So at this point, we're looking at a place where we got young people to say, I'm not going to the grave tore up. I'm not going to the grave brokenhearted. I'm not going to the place of where I had 25 relationships and none of them worked and every last one of them got worse because I couldn't get myself out of this place where I've been traumatized so many years ago. So this is what we're going to do. So I don't have anything negative to say about those kids. I don't have anything. I listened, I learned. I listened and I learned. What's a throuple? Baby, when that girl said, listen, and you're not opting for a couple, you decide to throuple and just kept on talking. I mean, it was just glibly, just rolled off her mouth, just off her tongue, a throuple. But listen, folks been having throuples for a long time. Folks been having throuples, whether you knew it or you didn't know it. And some of y'all were in, and this is where, I have to look at the whole reality of the thing. Some of y'all been in something and you didn't even know it was there in your house. It was there in your family. It was there in your face. But so many times, and this is where I'm going to come hard and I'm going to come, some of y'all may not be able to hang on, hold on, get your weave, get your wigs, hold on to it. Some of y'all that closing your eyes and praying is just another way of saying deny it. It's just another way of saying bury your head in the sand. It's just another way of saying don't admit it, don't acknowledge it, don't because if you acknowledge it, it makes it real. It's real, baby. It's real. Don't try to play like it's not real, baby. It's real. It's really going on. Did I see what I thought I saw? Yes, you did. You saw what you thought you saw. Did that joker rub up and down my leg? Yes, he did. And just like I said, the first time I moved over and I said, oh, he must have just, been, it's a whole lot of space up here. So I don't know how he's all the way over here on my leg, but I'm gonna move over just in case I misinterpreted his intentions. Baby, listen, your intuition more times than not is not incorrect. Your intuition more times than not is on point. If your intuition is telling you this joker over here trying to rub on my leg, he's probably trying to rub on your leg and get a little more than that. So as we've come to where the children and the young generation is saying, you're not going to raise me like that. You're not going to put me in that trick bag. You're not going to get me where I feel some kind of way and I don't want to tell what happened to me. Number one, because I fear that you're not going to believe me. And some of us, come on, baby, he wasn't calming me down. There wasn't no deliverance coming forth. The only thing being delivered was what was going on in his drawers. That's the only deliverance that was coming forth. Whatever was standing up in his drawers, that's the only deliverance he got. That's the only thing that came forth was his nasty pain. So we got to come to a point. And I'm like, if you are bold enough, y'all ain't buying what I'm selling. Why is it so quiet in here? I don't think I've ever seen a chat this quiet. I need my friends to come back. Where are my friends? Where are my friends? Where are my friends at? I'm telling you what, at the end of the day, when you will try to get a feel, you try to cop a feel, as my friend says, he was trying to cop a feel. You try to cop a feel in the church service in front of people. What do you think they gonna do in the dark in the back when nobody's watching? Come on, tall pumps. I'm telling the truth, tall pumps. I'm telling what God loves, and that's the truth. I got you, Mino. You can't type because you're working. Listen. Those violated, man, when we talk about those violated, the biggest thing that I can say to help heal the wound, get it out. Tell your truth. Speak on it. Stop the silence. And that's basically, as I'm saying, I feel like that's what the young people are saying. Stop the silence. So take all the filters off. And this is where I feel, you know what? I feel like the oversized robes, listen, baby, I could have a whole conversation about those robes, but I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going. You've been in the prayer line and the deacon, otherwise known as the devil, was all up in your ear. Do you understand the word? That are coming out of my mouth, all up in your ear, talking something that wasn't about God. So, tall pumps, I got you. I'm sorry. Is that Lawanda? Lawanda, I got you, sis. I got you. Thank you for lurking. At the end of the day, this is where I'm saying to us, we have got to get to a point where I loved the conversation. I loved the genuineness. I loved how frank they were talking. And this is where we got to pay attention, not to shut them down. We can have conversation. We can have a dialogue, because listen, I feel like some of this is going to have to be addressed. It's going to have to be talked through. Understand, talking through, if we start talking at and hollering at folks, it's going to shut folks down. We need these young people to keep talking. That's why I told them, I said, listen, on Friday, this stream is rated R. Some of y'all like, what? Yeah, this stream is rated R. Not because we trying to be rank and nasty and dirty or none of that. I want you to talk about what y'all really talk about. I want you to talk about the way that you really talk about. I want to understand. I want to hear it. I want to comprehend it. I want to have exposure to it, so that I can understand what's in your mind and what's in your heart. Where are you coming from? Because this is the disconnect. And listen, y'all, when y'all get so churchy and y'all get so holier than thou that they can't talk to you, we've lost them. We have lost them. When we want to dictate, you gonna talk to me a certain kind of way, and at the end of the day, as I said to me, I said, I want y'all to act like, if you can, as best as you can, act like I'm not even here. I want you to act like I'm not even here, and y'all having a conversation. But they be out of their respect. They keep finding that they get hung up in spots because they do respect me. They do respect, and so they're trying. I said, but listen, I want to hear what the real deal is. I want to hear what you say. Come on, tall pumps. I need you to hear. Don't stop the conversation and censor my truth. If I do that, then I have stopped and stunted the healing process. If I can only tell my truth the way that's acceptable to you to tell my truth. Now, can I come here for a second? For all of y'all that's tripping about how they brought that sexual revolution to the table on Friday, and they're going to continue to have that conversation, because that's real. That's real. For everybody that wants to stop their truth, I want you to hear about it from this level. Think about it on this wise. When white people tell me as a black woman how to deal with my pain and how to deal with my scars of racism and white supremacy and white privilege, you can't be the person that's created something and tell me how I'm going to tell it, what's acceptable. But don't raise your voice. Baby, if my voice gets raised, you best be glad I'm not laying my hands on you in some kind of way of violence. You cannot tell me, when you have done this to me, how I'm going to speak, what I'm going to speak, the words I can say, the words I cannot say. You cannot tell me that. And I'll, in a quickness, tell any of my, thank you for the biddies, tall pumps. With a quickness, I'll tell any of my white friends, don't tell me how to be hurt. Don't tell me how to express my hurt. Don't tell me what's acceptable and not what is unacceptable. You're the one that hurt me. So you don't have a place to tell me. If you slap me, you don't have the place to tell me how to respond to the slap that you just gave me. What you get is what you get. So we've got to understand, hear me when I'm saying this. We done slapped these kids, y'all. We done slapped these kids. We have slapped these kids all upside their head and then told them to be quiet and then made them go to church and made them do this and made them do that. And they stopped talking to us. And so they've come to a place where they've created their own way of dealing, their own way of coping. And guess what? It's without us. It's without our input. It's without us telling them, listen, you better watch the way you talk to me. You better watch the words that you say to me. Who are you talking to? Listen, if we're the ones that slapped them, if we're the ones that knocked them upside the head, if we're the ones that sent them into the trauma and the drama, we cannot tell them how to speak, what to speak, when not to speak, because that's still bondage from the oppressor. Y'all ain't buying what I'm selling. So at the end of the day, I want us to really think about, I loved what they said. I loved it. I loved the conversation. I was concerned that there was a level of openness to the idea of, hey, whosoever will, let him come. But I understand it. I get it. I grasp that thing. Now, let me tell you what. Even with that, as you begin to the different terms and different things that were being said, I was like, now some of y'all, it's going to be an educational experience. And that's why I invite you not to come in and try to tell them what to think and how to think. I invite you to come in because, listen, this is how we're going to rebuild the village. Our village is broken. Our young people, we need to connect. I'm not talking about pleasantries. I'm not talking about we speak to them and they speak to us and they just as pleasant and sweet and whatever. But then when they get away from us, they turn to their real selves, which is almost like multiple personality disorder. This is who I am when I'm around this group because this is what they require that I be like when I'm around them. So I'm gonna accommodate you because I want to be around you, or else they'll do the withdrawal. So I want to be around you. So this is my personality when I'm around you. And this is my personality when I'm around this group. And this is my personality when I'm around this group. But this is who I really am. And so at the end of the day, thank you for the biddies, Rebel. Thank you for the biddies. At the end of the day, I've listened to them talk about names for their alter egos. I'm telling you, names for their alter egos. They have alter egos when they go places, and they use those alter ego names when they go. Now y'all sitting up, happy Sunday, Dr. Dady Priest. That's my friend. This educator right here. Y'all follow her. Everybody that's in Twitch, y'all go out here. This sister will bless your whole life. And I'm telling you, her engagement podcast. As a matter of fact, I had it running even while I was in here with you all, because I wanted to lurk and just be in what she's talking about, because she's great. Y'all go out there and get some of that, because she is doing a marvelous job. But listen, if we cut off our young people where they will not talk to us, if we cut off our young people where we don't, baby, I had to get I had to go out there and I had to look up terms and I had to look up words. Whatchamacallit? How many of y'all knew what a whatchamacallit was? Now, come on. Some of y'all already know. How many of y'all knew? Put a 1 in there if you knew what a whatchamacallit was. Put a 2 in there if you did not know what a whatchamacallit was. Y'all done got quiet on me in here, but tell me, those of you who knew okay, I see Rebel knew what a whatchamacallit was. How many of you all knew what a whatchamacallit was? Really, really, really. You knew what a whatchamacallit was, because, baby, they educated me. Come on, Mino, you know what a whatchamacallit was. So at the end of the day, this is Shelby, a whatchamacallit. Okay, so they got a whole nother level of what if you gave me a whatchamacallit is you'll know. Okay, so whatchamacallit is you're a little bit more, I would have called in my day, a friend with benefits. I would have called it a friend with benefits. At the end, well, no, not exactly, Stacy. It's more like friends with benefits. In my day, that would have been what we would have called it, friends with benefits. So, you got a relationship, but there's no commitment there. And the whole idea that, now there's a difference, even when you see, I'm telling y'all got to come in and listen to these kids so you can understand what these terms mean when these kids are talking. So there's a difference between a whatchamacallit and a side piece or a side chick. And then the level of whether or not, what degree of the relationship with a side piece versus a side chick, and then cheating, everything, the rules are totally different, y'all. The rules are totally different. And the first thing you got to understand is what they're talking about. So when they got on the whole line of conversation about a whatchamacallit, I'm sitting there and I'm listening and I'm trying to understand. And then I'm also trying to understand if that, come on, thank you, Rebel. If I have a whatchamacallit, but as you heard the conversation, the expectation is that whatchamacallits should be just as available and hands-on as anybody else. So at the end of the day, it's like, as I said, so when you talk about a whatchamacallit and the expectation is that they should be ready, willing, and able and Johnny on the spot, but there's no commitment here, and you could have multiple whatchamacallits, how does that work? Totally had answers, totally processed through. I appreciated their answers. I really, really did. What it said to me was, I'm in a disconnect. Am I talking to anybody in here? It was too confusing at times, but they understood it perfectly. And Mel, let me tell you why you didn't understand it. Because your generational understanding of the words that they were saying, I got you. The words and explanation made perfect sense to them because they knew the terms. They knew what the terms meant. They knew how the terms interacted. They understood completely. And did you see, even in the agreement? Yeah. And there was no confusion on their part, and it made perfect sense. Now, and I'm not saying this that it didn't make sense. What I'm saying is I see your face, BTD mom. We are disconnected. And we got to stop playing. It's an old word, new meaning. There you go, Teresa. Old word, new meaning. Thank you, sis. So at the end of the day, if you're, I never in my wildest dreams would have thought of considering the level of relationship with the whatchamacallit. However, can we not acknowledge that whatchamacallits have existed forever? Have not whatchamacallits existed for, maybe not with the openness and the liberty and the freedom that these young people are perceiving it, and openly ready to be okay with everybody, intermingled and intertangled with everybody. So I heard somebody say, well, what about fluids? And they said, okay, but you don't share fluids with everybody. And that depends on what term, and there are terms for all of those different elements and aspects. This is all I'm trying to get from us. This tends to be an older group listening session. Then I'm saying to us as an older group, we are so disconnected that some way, somehow, we've got to continue to let them talk and hear what they're saying. It's not enough just to let them talk, but we've got to hear the words that, as I say all the time, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Baby, you be sitting up and your children and grandchildren be having a whole conversation and you're completely oblivious to what these babies are talking about. Not because they're trying to be sneaky, not because they're trying to talk under the radar. It's just a disconnect between our generations, between then and now. Now we got to look at some things, and I'm gonna go back to this again too. They're disconnected because if we insist on sticking our heads in the sand, if we insist on being so uptight and so stressed out when they come and they say what they say openly to us, and we can't handle, oh my God, I can't handle it. They're going to stop talking. Just straight up. And so you haven't been around young people for years, but you are now. And that's the thing, Mel. I got to say to us, if we talk about, oh, come on now. Y'all might get mad with me right here. If we talk about how there is such a loss and a lack going on with our young people, but none of the older people are around younger people except for the people in your immediate family, what's that about? If you're not around any young people, and I understand, let the young folks come to us, but how many of us are going to the young people? Now, first and foremost, there's going to be some level of awkwardness at first, because just like these 2 weeks of the young folks talking, I love the platform. I appreciate them being willing to do it. I love it. The shock, the shock that was going on in that chat, especially this past Friday, they blew y'all away this past Friday. But part of it is that, oh my goodness. And I said, I'm learning. I saw Teresa say, I'm learning. I'm getting educated. I'm learning. If we are not around young people to hear what they're talking about and what's on their hearts, and to listen, not to listen prepared to answer or give them some kind of correction or to give them some kind of instruction. Sometimes we just need to listen and let them roll the whole beautiful bean footage out there. Just listen and take it in so we can get an idea. First and foremost, we got to get lingo together, because our lingo is like night and day. It's almost like, I remember in my day, y'all know when we used the term, oh, that was bad. Oh, that was bad. Oh, that was bad. So I'm showing my age here. So I'm a child of the 60s. That was bad. That was bad. Oh, that was rank. Oh, that was rank. Child, you say bad and rank now, and them kids be looking at you like, what you talking about? But at the same time, I remember my sister telling my uncle who played the guitar that, she said, oh, Uncle Louie, you are bad. And Uncle Louie's feelings were hurt because he thought she was giving him an offensive put down about his guitar playing. And it's a language barrier. That's all it was a language barrier. So at the end of the day, if you don't understand, and there's a language barrier, if you don't understand what the person is saying and what the person is communicating, then we got a problem. And I'm not saying try to get out there and use their lingo and this and that, but you got to at least understand. But if you don't have any contact with young people, If you don't have any contact with young people, where are they supposed to be getting this wisdom and knowledge to model after? Where are they supposed to, it's like just by osmosis from where? Osmosis means I got to come in contact with something so I can at least absorb it and draw it in. But I can't have osmosis where there's no contact. So at the end of the day, I feel like I've got to say to us, and the reason why I said, listen, I want you all to please be a segment of this Yes You lineup, because I want to hear the young people and I want to hear it from a raw place. And I want to be around young people. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I make a point to go out of my way. I make a point to go out of my way to stay with young people. And anybody that knows me can tell you that is the God's honest truth. From the little bitty kids to the teenagers to the young adults to the, and as one of my babies said on the show, and I'm not trying to toot my horn, but this is just what I believe. She said, I can be sitting and they call me Aunt Jean. I can be sitting and I get a text from Aunt Jean. That's right. Cause it's not just about when something's going on in your world. It's not just about when I hear something, I want to applaud and say congratulations. It's not just about this or that and the other. Whenever you cross my mind, I want you to know I'm thinking of you. Whenever you cross my mind, I'm going to pick up that phone and I'm going to call if I feel like it warrants that. And not because I know anything right or wrong or bad or good is going on. You're just in what I call in my spirit. You're down in my shondo. I'm going to make that connection. So at the end of the day, you may not, and it's not about your birthday. It's not your birthday. It's not a holiday. It's not any of that. It's the reality that I want to stay connected to you. I want to know about you. I want to feel what's going on in your world. I want to hear what's going on in your life. I want to have that point of, hey, let's go to lunch today. Are you free? I want to say, hey, you want to go out and kick it? Let's get a little dinner. Let's do a little this. Let's do a little that. And let me tell you what happens, y'all. Almost every time, from the little kids to the grown-ups, almost every time when we steal away and start that personal private time, they start talking. They just open up and start talking stuff that so many times I'm not even asking. It's just once they get to going, and one of the young people said, man, when I sit down with you, it's just like everything just starts coming out. I can't. I went to a hotel one time. The maid came in and just started telling me everything under the sun. I was like, do I have the scarlet letter or something on my forehead? What is it? But it's about when people find somebody that will listen and gives the ability to really genuinely care about you don't have to be in somebody's presence for a week, a year. Baby, you can pick up on stuff quick, fast, and in a hurry. Yes, I am an empath, but at the same time, sometimes it's just a matter of paying attention. Just be quiet. Don't listen to answer. Just listen. There's a big difference, babies, beloved. There's a big difference listening to answer. If you're that person that a lot of times you find yourself interrupting the individuals, interrupting the kids, trying to lecture them, trying to tell them what to think and how to think. And in my day, baby, your day and this day are two different days. Let me guarantee you. There are some similarities. There are some things that happen likewise, but beloved, it's a different day. And they're dealing with stuff that we may not have had to deal with. Some of the dynamics are the same, however. So when we get to this point where we recognize we need to have some interaction with our babies, we got to do it. You had someone confused the murdering someone to me. Confess. I think you're saying confess. I have had a murderer. I've had a young man that killed somebody, that when the detectives called, they were like, he wants you to come. So at the end of the day, it makes no difference. It makes no difference. People are people and kids are kids. And we've got to have, whether it's a murderer, been there, been involved, been engaged with one, a rapist, been involved, been engaged with one, pedophiles, been involved, been engaged, because at the end of the day, people are people and they may be wounded and hurting people, but they want somebody to know. They want to know that somebody cares. So I'm gonna stop with that. Y'all done got real quiet in the chat. But at the end of the day, and I thought somebody was going to call me on the phone. Y'all done got real quiet. But at the end of the day, I hope that we understand it's a different day and a different time, but we've got to reconnect. I don't think it's the responsibility fully to expect the babies and the young folks to connect to us. We've got to, they're our babies. We cannot afford to just leave them out here flapping in the wind. So I'm asking you, and I know everything I said in this podcast was true, even right on down to the pedophilia in the church and everything else, and the pastor sleeping with not only the kids, the boys, the girls, and the women, and the other brothers in the pulpit. At the end of the day, we've got to deal with the realities of the children that are basically saying, but you're not going to do that to me anymore, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to speak my truth, and I have to speak my truth. So here we are, y'all. And what we get as well, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to see if anybody got anything, anybody going to call me. What we also have to admit and acknowledge, they have created an alternative. They have created an alternative. Just like we heard Friday very clearly, they have created an alternative. And it's no point in us getting mad, upset, and agitated. We just need to listen, and we need to work through this. We need to work through this. But they have created an alternative. So there you have it. Somebody said, call in, tall pumps. There you have it. I just really feel I am appreciative once more. And again, I'm going to take this for an example. And I'm going to just, as they were talking, I started looking up stuff. Okay, so let's go with this. How many of you knew? Put a 1 in the chat if you know, 2 if you didn't. But at this point, there are, let me see. Let me get back to that one. Let me see if I can find it. I want to say there's like 58. Where did it go? Oh, I had it up, y'all, and it jumped off of my screen. Okay, so anybody gonna call in? I'm gonna give you a chance to call in if you would. I'm a enjoy and welcome your conversation if you call in. Did I just scare y'all completely away? Anybody? I'm gonna let y'all. I'm gonna give you a moment. Y'all real quiet. Was I too heavy for you today? Did I go too deeper than folks were ready to go? Oh, it's a word, Rebel. It's a word. At the end of the day, it's a word. It's a word. It may not be a word that some folks feel like they're ready to hear, but it's a word, and we got to deal with it. And again, I am so happy for these 2 young ladies being bold enough to bring it, because I mean, they brought it. They didn't sugarcoat it. They put it out there. And I am very glad that they did. I want them to continue on the journey doing just like they did on Friday and the Friday before. Shine the light. Come on. Oh no. Oh, so shine the light. We're shining the light because that is the only way. If it stays in the dark and it stays hidden, then we will not know how to heal our community. We will not know how to heal our children. We will not know how to help one another heal, because some of this that we are, what am I wanting to say, struggling with right now is because we have not dealt with some of our own stuff. I'm going to say it again. Some of us are just now telling our secrets and telling our truths. And so it's just now coming to the fore for us. And so this generation is basically saying, we're not getting ready to go through that. I saw what it did to my mama. I saw what it did to my grandma. I'm not going to ride that train. So there you have it. Every generation has a way of dealing. Most generations repeat previous generations. This one has gone out on their own and they're doing their own thing. And I think it's fantastic too, Stacey. I think it's fantastic. I know for many people that were listening to that conversation on Friday, it was just like, I just can't believe it. What are you doing? What are these young folks saying? But at the end of the day, I feel like a pendulum. When things correct, when things need to be corrected, it swings real far to the right, then it swings real far to the left. But eventually, guess what? It's going to come back to the middle. But I think we're going to have to work through some things. It's not going to just automatically on its own. Let me ask this. Did anybody put a 1 in the chat? If you were here on Friday, did anybody hear anything from those young ladies that you found alarming? If you did, put a 1 in the chat. If you heard anything that you felt was alarming in what they shared, put a 1 in the chat. If you heard anything that you felt alarmed by or concerned about, put a 1 in the chat if you would. If you heard some alarming things, okay, Mina, I know you're working, so you can't talk, but you did hear some stuff that you were. I'm not gonna lie. I would have to put, you didn't, Mel. I heard some stuff I was alarmed about. Not so much that things are going on. I was alarmed. I will say I was alarmed. I'm gonna leave it at that. So I'm just keeping it honest, and I'm not gonna go into a lot of conversation. You weren't alarmed, Rebel. You got the flow. I got you. I was. I wasn't blown out of the water. But I was alarmed at certain things and certain mindsets. But I'm cool with it because I want to hear it. I want to hear it all the way through. I want to talk about it. I want to engage with it. I want to have full engagement all the way around. I don't want to shut down the conversation, but I'm with Mino. There were some things I was alarmed about and gave me cause for pause. That said, to me, as a spiritual thought leader, what are our next steps? What are our next steps on how we can keep moving forward and keep engaging in this conversation and keep binding and working together? Because there are some things, Stacey, you said no. Okay, I got you. They educated on some things that was not brought to speed on because you like to do the research. I've been researching since we had that session on Friday. It's not even just the language. I've been researching different concepts of what they said because I realized that my understanding is antiquated. I'm not oblivious to everything, but some of it, I will say, it put me in the books. It put me on Google. It put me in a place where I started looking up and I started researching. I started looking at statistics. Because to me, it's not just a matter of a simple conversation. I want to know the dynamics. How many in our society, how many, especially in our Black community, how many in our Black children, how many in all the children, regardless of race and ethnicity and culture, how many are we talking about here? And I will say, I was stunned by what I learned when I went out and started doing some research. And I realized just how behind the times and antiquated I was in my thinking. And they brought some things to light in a heavy way that I was like, wow. And I'm still like the little bit of research that I've done since Friday, I'm still like, wow. And I'm still, again, not because I'm blown out of the water, but just the numbers, man. I think some of us don't have any idea how widespread and how prevalent this whole, what they talked about on Friday, it's out there, y'all. And it's big time. It's big time. And so it is what it is. And we are going to have to deal with it. We're going to have to deal with it. Well, we all can learn from each other, Mel. And that's what it's all about. I feel like everything that they are sharing, I'm just eating it up. I'm just every drop, every morsel, because I want to learn and I want to understand. I want to comprehend. I want to be able to have a connection. I don't want to just talk at and talk about and talk around. I really want us to talk and I want that to be genuine, and not just with them. They're giving us a peephole. It's almost like, when you walk up to the door and you got the peephole and you look in that peephole and you can see what's immediately on the other side. But I'm telling y'all, when we open this door, because there is something where we're on one side and our young people can be seen on that other side. They gave us a peephole on Friday, but like I said, when I went out there and started looking up statistics and information, and it's staggering. There's a whole nother room on the other side of that peephole, and we need to tap into it so we don't have a disconnect that is devastating to us and our young people. Well, I mean, if nobody's going to talk to me today, as you see, my friends are not here. I'm going to say it one more time. And I'm really at the 7:30 hour, so I guess I done talked up the time. I'm so glad they broke it down, Mino. I'm glad they broke that thing down. Both of them are 20-something-year-olds. Oh my God, they broke that thing down. And I'm open to more of the breaking down. Because at the end of the day, break it down so I can understand it. Break it down so I can engage with it. Break it down so I can be a part of you and understand where you're coming from. And I'm going to also break down for you where I'm coming from. The one thing I will say this, and I'm getting ready. Good evening, Truck Driver 57. So good to have you in the room, my brother. So good to have you in the room. Me too, Mino, me too. Now, the one thing that I felt good about, now when I told them about the situation with my ex and the fact that on his deathbed, he asked for me in his dying breath, and I stayed with him until he passed away from Monday to Thursday, and they both off screen, off of the conversation from the podcast, they both were like, oh my God, I'm still thinking about that. I'm still processing that. I'm still, both of them. I just never thought about that. Never. And this is the thing, beloved. We've got experiences to share with them. They've got experiences to share with us, and we both can learn from each other, because thankfully, oh man, I missed you, Truck Driver. I do on Sunday afternoons, I preach a sermon at 2:00, and then this is usually with my friends. But as I said, as I get ready to close here, Royal Confessions, as you all know her, Rhonda Royal, who is one of the participants of this particular segment, her husband passed away completely unexpectedly on yesterday morning. And so she is out. Our prayers are going up. Our love is going up for her and to her during this time of bereavement and grief. And the others, I just went ahead and gave them the night off. So this is Sunday is usually 2:00, 6:00. But listen, we miss you, man. It's always good to have you in the room. We had a word today, honey. We got a word on that 2:00. It's out there. You can watch it on demand, but we had a word at 2:00 and it was powerful. But we missed you. Well, y'all, I guess we're at the end. They're coming. Thank you for the prayers. Please pray. It's just such a shock. And he's my big brother and my friend. So it's a tremendous loss, a tremendous shock. And we appreciate the prayers. And I will, for those, again, that are interested, I will be sharing more about the funeral arrangements once the funeral arrangements are made, but all kinds of mad love and all kind of prayers going up to Rhonda. She's such an integral and vital part of our Sunday night conversations. And of course, in the Twitch streets as Royal Confessions, she always gives us such a laugh and such a hee and a kiki. So yes, please keep her lifted. I'm going to let it go. It's 7:30. I appreciate you guys. Come on. Before I get out of here, I want to put in, let's go for a shout out one more time. I want you to listen to Dr. Dady Priest. This sister puts it out there, her engagement that she was dealing with about your style. And it's about knowing you, knowing how to flow in your lane. What is your lane? Identifying, being able to flow with it. She came out with the 4 different levels, dealt with knowing yourself. What kind of person are you? How do you flow? What's your language? What's your communication? She put that thing out there, man. It's beautiful. Dr. Dady Priest, please follow her. She is so powerful. Beauty for You. She's not in here, but if you can put her in there, that is where, for many of you that may find that emotional place of challenge, Beauty for You is just what you need. She will bring the beauty for you. If you can put her in there, some kind of way moderator. I don't know if you can or not. But the people that are out here that are bringing something so wholesome and so powerful to Twitch and to the internet, I want y'all to tap into this. This is good stuff. Good stuff. Dr. Dady was on this morning. I stayed as long as I could. Y'all know I play for a couple of churches. I play organ for a couple of churches on Sunday morning for their services. And so I listened to her as long as I could. Then I had to cut Dr. Dady off and lurk. And then a couple of times I was trying to come out of lurk and say a little something and go back in. But listen, she came on this morning and then came on again this evening. I appreciate Dr. Dady Priest and Beauty for You and what they're bringing to the Twitch streets. Rebel, I want you all to check her out. She'll be on in the morning. The Rebel Inc. Please, please, please. The Rebel Inc. Put a shout out link in there for yourself, Rebel. This is probably, even as Dr. Dady Priest, she's one of the most engaging and one of the most supportive streamers out here. And that's just her personality. It really, really is. I want you all to get up in the morning and go out there and get some refreshment from the Rebel Inc. because she is a very, very powerful podcaster, streamer, and I love everything that she's doing, and I love the way that she does it. So I'm still waiting for you. Not YouTube. You will have to come into Twitch. All of this is Twitch related that I'm talking about right now. I would hope at some point we can get definitely the Rebel Inc. On. And Dr. Dady, if you're still here, Dr. Dady Priest, are you on YouTube? Give us any other. But I tell you what, if you go to her Twitch channel, I would almost guarantee that she's got all of her other means. Instagram, I know she does Instagram. Lawanda, thank you for being in here, sis. I love you. These moderators that come in from the other channels, they are awesome. I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking your time. It's so much love to you, sis. So much love to you. I hope that what I shared today has been helpful. You will see a change of time. Thank you, Shelly B. Thank you. I thank you for coming in, and I welcome you back to this space and place anytime. And I appreciate anytime you come in and give the input. That's always a blessing to me. Nobody took advantage of the call-in line. Tall Pumps, Connie, she came in on Friday, and baby, she took us to town on Friday. So the Friday session with the young people, I want to encourage as many people as can to come back. We moved that to 2:00 because for those on the East Coast, it was getting a little late, starting to 7:00, running into the 9:00. So we backed that thing up. Thank you for the love, sis. Thank you for the love. We backed that thing up to 2:00. So I'm going to ask you to still come in for those that can, even if you just can only lurk. But those young people are putting their little hearts and everything on the line. I want us to support them. And I'm there to learn. I really am. I'm there to learn and share whatever I can in the way of sharing. All right. I think we have come to the end of our journey today. I love you guys. This is always a blessing to me. I will be back on Tuesday morning at 7:00 from 7 to 9. I said, come in on Wednesday if you want to vote. And what's the vote on? Are we going to stay 7 to 9 on the broadcast, or are we going to go 8 to 10? 7 to 9, stay where we are, or 8 to 10? Dr. Dady Priest, I love you. I appreciate you. We had somebody asking, are you on YouTube? If you can answer that, and I'll chit chat long enough to get. They want to know, are you available to them on YouTube, or where else can I told them Instagram, but any place else. Some of these are not on Twitch. I do have those that are coming in and watching this stream from YouTube as well as Facebook. So any of that information, Dr. Dady, I call her my high priestess, the high priestess, any place that you can drop down in that link of where they can access you outside of Twitch. And I did say some of them will need to. I'm encouraging you, if you really want to get the full impact of Dr. Dady, Twitch, she carries it out there and carries on. You're just on YouTube. I got your mail. So we're going to give Dr. Dady Priest a chance to give us any other locations that we can access her, because she's worth the time and the effort to connect with. I promise you, you will be blessed by what she's teaching and sharing and putting out there into the atmosphere. Positive energy, y'all. It's always about, I'm going to always share positive, good, healthy, wholesome energy with you. I want you to get it. Okay, so thank you. Instagram.com, Dr. Dady Priest. Pick that up. Or Twitch. So Mel, I'm going to encourage you, if you're not on Instagram, thank you. Oh no, oh so I appreciate that. I want this to be good energy. I want this to be something that you go away and feel like you got something while you were here. Put a little meat on your bones. And so I want it to be just that. You too, Stacy 546. You have a blessed evening. I love all of you guys. I want you to have peace for your journey. Come on, see me Tuesday, and we'll be right back with Yes You. Oh, Keisha, so glad. Listen, we'll be back. But I want you to know I appreciate you for coming in and trying to make it. Thank you. That means the world to me. That means volumes. And I love you. I love you. Listen, Rebel is cracking up. Rebel got the jokes. She's just cracking up. I love you guys. Have a great Sunday. I will see you Tuesday morning, 7:00, and we'll be back with Yes You, O Cubed, one-on-one, just me and you. Peace for your journey.